Good morning. Welcome back to Sober Sunrise. It is Thursday, June 19th, 2025. It is 6:34 a.m. It is Juneteenth. No work today for me. Hopefully no work for you too. Um Not feeling great today. It's just allergies, but gonna get through it. Didn't sleep well. Let's see what we've got today. This one's called AA Regeneration. June 19th. Such is the paradox of AA regeneration, strength arising out of complete defeat and weakness. The loss of one's old life as a condition for finding a new one. That's from AA Comes of Age, page 46. AA Comes of Age is a book written by Bill W., the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's about the early history of AA, the growth of the AA fellowship. Yeah, so it's just a historical a book about AA's early history. Okay. A Thousand Beatings by John Barleycorn did not encourage me to admit defeat. I believed it was my moral obligation to conquer my enemy friend. At my first AA meeting, I was bleeding with a feeling that it was all right to admit defeat. Did I say bleeding? Wow. I really didn't sleep well. I'm going to start that whole part over. A Thousand Beatings, that's probably why I said bleeding. A Thousand Beatings by John Barleycorn did not encourage me to admit defeat. I believed it was my moral obligation to conquer my enemy friend. At my first AA meeting, I was blessed with a feeling that it was all right to admit defeat to a disease which had nothing to do with my moral fiber. I knew it instinctively that I was in the presence of a great love when I entered the doors of AA. With no effort on my part, I became aware that to love myself was good and right, and as God had intended. My feelings set me free, where my thoughts had held me in bondage. I am grateful. Okay. This is actually a really good one. By the way, John Barleycorn is a type of alcohol, I believe. Again, these were written a long time ago. Most of them. And so, A Thousand Beatings by John Barleycorn. It's like saying A Thousand Beatings by Jack Daniels or Jim Beam. So, okay. Such is the paradox of AA regeneration. Strength arising out of complete defeat and weakness. The loss of one's old life as a condition for finding a new one. It's a good paradox. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. A new life rising out of complete defeat and weakness. Sounds good, doesn't it? It's what I was looking for. That's what I needed. I was completely defeated. I was weak. Um, I had already lost what I wanted in my old life. So now all that was left to do was to lose what I no longer wanted from my old life. What I no longer wanted was the feeling of being inadequate, the feeling that I wasn't good enough, the feeling that I had to compensate for some deep down hole that I had in myself. That's what I didn't want anymore. I didn't want those feelings anymore. But I was clinging to those. What I did want was my son and my marriage and my home and my friends and my all the good things. I had already lost those. Those things were gone. And so the only thing left to do was to lose the rest of the baggage, the rest of the bad stuff. So you have old life, inadequate, not good enough, low self-esteem, etc., etc., etc. Wife, son, home, all those things. That was the old life. And then I lost all the good parts of it, but I was still clinging to the bad parts of it for some reason. So the only thing I had left to do was to say, okay, that old life, I have to let go of everything. I have to let go of all the stuff that makes me who I am today. Not all of it, but all the bad stuff. I got to let that stuff go. And I got to get to the bottom of why I am that way, what made me that way, so that I can learn how to become the person I want to be. And that is the paradox, right? Rising out of complete defeat and weakness, the loss of one's old life as a condition for finding a new one. It's like you can't have your new life until you deal with the old one. You can't have two. You can't have it both ways. It's interesting what happens when you talk, when you think out loud. This experiment that I'm doing now, or having a conversation with someone about something important, and you're having a conversation, you're like, wow, I never thought of it that way. As the words are coming out of my own mouth right now, I'm thinking I never thought of it that way until this very moment. I never realized that you have to lose your old life before you can have your new one. You can't have both. It doesn't work. And that's profound. So AA Comes of Age, page 46. I think I would like to get that book. I don't have that book. I have a lot of books about AA and Bill and stuff, but I don't have that one. So 1,000 Beatings by John Barleycorn did not encourage me to admit defeat. Why is that? I can get beaten down over and over and over and over again and still not admit defeat. And wake up hungover day after day after day after day with regret and shame and anxiety and panic. What did I do the night before? Did I call anyone? Did I text anyone? Did I do anything stupid? All this anxiety and these terrible feelings waking up every day. Oh my God, I'm late for work. Oh my God, I feel like crap. Oh my God. All these terrible things day after day after day, and still not admit defeat, that I'm an alcoholic and I can't control it. I need to do something about it. I believed it was my moral obligation to conquer my enemy friend. My enemy friend. Yeah. Definitely. My moral obligation to conquer my enemy friend. My enemy friend is my disease, right? It's the diseases of addiction are interesting diseases. We like to say it's a disease that tells you you don't have a disease. I'm not your enemy, I'm your friend. Right? I'm the one who knows how to make you feel better. Nope. Not a good relationship. And you have to break up with that enemy friend. At my first AA meeting, I was blessed with a feeling that it was all right to admit defeat to a disease which had nothing to do with my moral fiber. Yeah. So that's what I got as well. was a feeling that like, all right, these people are like me. They get it. They're not gonna they're not gonna judge me because they are me. They are me in their own way. They've seen the types of sad nights, scary mornings that I've seen. It has nothing to do with my moral fiber. I'm not a bad person. I just have a disease. And I felt like, okay, I can admit defeat. Like, okay, I'm tapping out. It's okay. And that's a good feeling to have when you're like, okay, I can quit. I can quit pretending that I've got this, because I don't have this. I don't have this. This is too much for one person to deal with on their own. Occasionally you hear stories of someone who quit cold turkey, never went to a meeting, never did anything, never went to therapy, just quit cold turkey. Amazing. Definitely the minority. Um, Abstinence and sobriety are the first part. Recovery is what comes after. So I'm not sure how many of those people who, and this is just speculation, of course. So those people who are just like, I just quit one day, I just stopped drinking. I never went to a meeting, I never did anything. Okay. That's great. I'm super happy for them because that's the hardest part, is the first part. Don't drink. Um, but then did they actually ever recover, or did they just remain a what we call a dry drunk, where someone is just like abstaining and not drinking but miserable? I don't know. Maybe there's people out there who are the anomaly, who are just like, I'm miserable, I'm an alcoholic, I'm going to quit drinking, I'm done. And then the next day they stop and they never have a drink again and they never go to a meeting and they're happy the rest of their life, truly happy. It's amazing. I wish that for everyone. Most likely that won't be the case for you or the person that you love. It's just the reality of it. We need other people to help us through this. Um, yeah. And my disease had nothing to do with my moral fiber. If you're the one who has this disease, your disease has nothing to do with your moral fiber. If it's your friend or your brother or your sister or your husband or wife or whomever, it has nothing to do with their moral fiber. They're not a bad person because they're an alcoholic or an addict. The disease might make them act like a bad person temporarily. It might make them do things that they wish they hadn't done. But it's not their moral fiber that is to blame. It's the disease. It's a very powerful disease. It makes us do all kinds of things we wish we wouldn't do. Cheat, rob, steal, abuse, all kinds of terrible things that we have to pay for later on when we start to recover. But if we want to recover, we have to let go of those old things so we can have the new life that we want. Going back to the beginning of the reading. You can't have both. Okay, I knew instinctively that I was in the presence of a great love when I entered the doors of AA. Ah, what a good feeling. This person knew instinctively that they were in the presence of a great love when they entered the doors of AA. Just feeling the energy in the room and knowing that this is a place of great love. It's a great way to put it. I agree with it 100%. Not every meeting is perfect. Not every meeting is. Listen, I've been to some meetings that are rough. Okay? I've been to some meetings where they have a bottle of alcohol sitting on the table in front of everyone in plain sight. And they're like, if you want it, there it is. Like, no one's going to stop you. Get out of your chair, get up, grab it, and drink it. I've been to some rough meetings. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this have been to some rough meetings with rough language and no frills uh, and then I've been to some really kind, really soft meetings as well, with a lot of love and a lot of support and softness and kindness and a much more welcoming vibe of like a new generation of AA, so to speak. The old schoolers are a little bit more like sit down, shut up, and listen. That's literally what they say. Sit down, shut up, and listen. Don't talk. You're new here. Just sit down and shut up. And that's kind of the vibe of like some old school meetings, okay? But if you see past all of that, all the surface level roughness, and get down to what's really trying to be said and listen, and if you do what they say and you sit down and you shut up and you listen and don't walk in thinking you know everything, because you don't, you'll find that it is a room filled with love. It just looks a little different. It's the same message. It's a message of recovery through community. You have to do the work. You have to do the steps. You got to get rid of the baggage of your old life, but you have to address it. You can't just pretend it didn't happen. You got to address it, look it straight in the eye, address it, and move on. 10 toes down. But every room is a room filled with love. I've been on some rough Zoom meetings too. And again, you might hear someone with a share that shocks you, where you're like, this person is a real jerk. And that might be true, but their share is most likely trying to tell you what you need to hear. And sometimes the truth hurts. It just does. It's like, dang, that was rough. But he was right about that. If you have an open mind and an open heart and you can listen to what's really trying to be said, oftentimes you walk away with something pretty profound that you learn. But every meeting is a meeting filled with love. With no effort on my part, I became aware that to love myself was good and right, as God had intended, as my higher power had intended. I became aware that to love myself was good and right, as the universe had intended. Don't get tripped up on God. With no effort on my part, no effort. This person walked through the doors, knew instinctively they were in a presence of a great love, and with no effort on their part, became aware that to love themselves was good and right. I don't know if that happened their first meeting. That's pretty amazing if it did. Maybe it happened on the 10th meeting or the 50th meeting that they went to. But they walked in, instinctively knew they were in a place filled with great love, and became aware that to love themselves was good and right. There is a saying that in the groups that says, come in and let us love you until you learn to love yourself. Stay long enough, you'll learn to love yourself. Hang out in a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. If you're trying to quit drinking and you are still a bartender, you hang out in a bar long enough, you're going to drink. It's that feeling of, I'm here, I might as well. I'm sitting in this barbershop chair just chatting, I might as well get a haircut. I'm working at this bar pouring drinks for everybody else, I might as well have one. I come to this meeting every day, I might as well sit down and listen and do what they say. Yeah. I became aware that to love myself was good and right, as the universal consciousness had intended for me. My feelings set me free. My feelings set me free, where my thoughts had held me in bondage. Let me try that again. My feelings set me free, where my thoughts had held me in bondage. I am grateful. My thoughts, my toxic thoughts that my brain has been conditioned to hold on to and repeat over and over again, have held me in bondage. I'm not good enough. I don't stack up. I don't something enough. I don't have enough. I'm not something enough. Society tells me I'm not good enough. Society tells me I'm not pretty enough. So my thoughts cycle that. Not enough, not enough, not enough. If I just had more of something, I'd be enough. If I just had more money, if I just had more followers, if I just had more likes, if I just had newer clothes, if I just had whatever, I would be enough. Those thoughts are a cycle of bondage, keeping you from being happy. They kept me from being happy for a long time. They kept me from loving myself for a long time. They kept me from accepting that the universe wants me to have everything I want. And my feelings, like this says, eventually did set me free. But it came with a lot of work. It didn't just, I went to my first meeting and everything changed the first day. No. No. Some things change the first day, but not everything. Doesn't work that way. It takes work, takes time, takes repetition, it takes sacrifice, it takes being of service to other people. It takes a lot of really amazing steps, and I don't just mean the steps of the program, but you have to get away from your old life and the old way of thinking, and you shed that old skin like a snake shedding its old skin, and then you become something new. It's a metamorphosis. It's a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It's yeah, so you're in your chrysalis maybe during those first 90 days or 6 months or year or 2 years, however long it takes. I think around the 2 year mark, I really started to feel like truly like my new life, my new self was really becoming what I wanted it to be. It took a while. So it was worth it. I had some good days. I had some bad days. I had some really, really challenging times. But patience and kindness really were what got me through. And maybe I'll talk more about that on other videos about that period. Tomorrow, Chris is supposed to be here. So I got to check with him, make sure he's still ready to come. So, yeah, tomorrow, hopefully I'll have a guest with me. And maybe he and I will get into... Well, we'll see what we get into. No scripts on this channel. All right, so thank you for listening. I hope that was helpful. And if you liked it, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like. If you excuse me, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And really, what's most important for me is share this with someone who might need to hear it. That's the most important thing for me. The likes and stuff help get it out to more people, to get it into the algorithm a little bit more. But just share it with someone who you think would help. It would help them. That's all I really care about. All right. Thank you again for listening. Happy Juneteenth. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this, you are enough. You are worth it. Keep doing the hard work. It will pay off in the end. The magic you're looking for is hiding behind the hard work you've been avoiding. It's one of my favorite quotes. Thank you very much. Love you all. Have a great day.